Hello everyone, my name is Emilio Savignon and I'm going to be speaking about what I learned this year. What I learned this year is how to write with a purpose. So before I start off, I'm going to say what I knew before. What I knew before was that I would write about what I wanted to write about. So it was just like picking a simple topic and then finding some credible sources to write about the issue. But now, throughout the year, I learned that I'm supposed to find a problem within my life or in the world in general and try to solve it through experiments, interviews, observations, or anything of the sort. It My example is the character log, the character sheet. So it helped me determine my interests and how I wanted to apply that to a problem and try to solve, which I did right here in the character research interests. It asked me what I wanted to learn or what I wanted to research throughout the year, and it set me on a clear path of what I had to do. So it was very helpful for me. And the way I'll apply it to the future is I'll continue to use the character sheet because it's very useful and it's very efficient in a way that it gets the job done in a way. The second thing I learned is fitting your genre and your audience to the purpose. So, what I used to do before is I would write my papers like I was writing for myself, which means I would write for an audience that I would categorize myself into. So, basically, students most of the time. But what I learned throughout this year is that when you work or when you write about a topic, you're writing for the people who the answer would benefit the most. And again, the character sheet helped me, it launched me into picking my audience right away because of the problem that I picked, which was how students are motivated by the aesthetics in the classroom and if it influences their work. And I'll apply the same thing in the future again because it's efficient, it works, and it's very, very helpful in keeping me on track. The third is my peer feedback process. Actually, I didn't really know that peer feedback would be so helpful to me because all I thought it was is asking for your friends for advice to see if your paper was well, which is basically the same thing as peer feedback from your classmates. So, what I learned this year is that peer feedback is very helpful when you're stuck at a certain point in your paper. And I have an example here in my research paper that I conducted or constructed this year. So what I had to do or what I learned is that when you're asking someone for help, you're gonna have to ask the question after you state what you've done and how how you worked through it through the first place. So here you can see how I did it. It's very it's very simple. Like it's not hard when you first start out. So I'm gonna read it to you. Um, so I was supposed to state how I did the part where I'm stuck at. Then I'm supposed to say how I did it or how I started off and how I got stuck, and then ask them for their help. So you can ask them anything actually. You can ask them to write you an example or continue for you or rewrite it entirely. So it was very helpful to me because I get stuck so often, and it was very, very helpful. And I would use it again in the future, definitely, because it's a tool that you can use for people to help you and you to help other people, which is very, very helpful. So thank you for listening to me. That was what I learned throughout the year.